Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Box, again with Dr. Ronald G. Taylor, sponsored by Novo Dia. And also want to just really say thank you for all the support and feedback that you've given us around these conversations. We try to keep them as authentic as possible. I'm a retired superintendent with about 30 years of public education experience that includes being a teacher, assistant principal, assistant superintendent, and also superintendent. And for those who are interested in reading some great stories about careers that are interesting and about the fight for instructional and educational integrity and equity, you can also feel free to look for my book. It's The Courage to Lead with Integrity for Equity, an Authentic Educational Equity Journey. That's available everywhere. There's also, of course, linked on my LinkedIn.
Welcome back to Beyond the Box. We're super excited today to have Eric Ripley, who is the Executive Director of Career and Tech Education at Grand Forks Public Schools, with us today. Eric is in charge of overseeing key areas such as curriculum and instruction and assessment. He plays a critical role in programs adoption, coherence, and strategic planning. He also is involved with collaborating with various educational stakeholders and supporting the implementation of educational initiatives. Mr. Ripley, his work emphasizes the balance between adhering to external mandates while also meeting with local educational needs. So, welcome, Eric.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. And for those who've watched a few of our episodes, we've had other leaders in career tech education, and I'm always just so fascinated because I had the opportunity to bring back CTE courses in a couple of my superintendencies, and it was just such an exciting and rewarding space, and to see kids connecting to what they wanted to do with their lives as adults. So just thinking about that, Eric, and really leading with instructional coherence in a medium sized district. When you first stepped into your current role, how would you describe kind of the landscape of your instructional materials across your different schools and grade levels?
Yeah, no, it's a great start question. And so I've been in my current administrative role for the past 18 years. And previous to that, spent 10 years in the classroom at the middle school and high school level, but all spent within the umbrella of career and technical education. So certainly echo your comments about the importance of CTE and what the important role that it has with any of our educational systems in terms of providing students options and choices. What our big belief is to help students make an educated decision on what their next step is after high school, and whatever that next step might be, whether that's a 4-year pursuit, a 2-year technical program, associate's degree, on-the-job training, internship, military workforce. I mean, there's so many choices available for students, and I think the important part that we want to get across to all of our students is they're all good choices. And so it's not a tiered approach where one choice is better or perceived to be better than another choice. It doesn't have to be a 4-year for all mentality. It's really what lines up with their interests, their skills and abilities, and hopefully to prepare them to make that transition then post high school. And so when back to your original question, Dr. Taylor, talking about when I first stepped in this role then 18 years ago, what I saw within career technical education for us was still a little bit of the remnants of it was for a non-college tracked student, right? It was for a non-academically gifted student. It was intended to try to still provide maybe a hireable skill, a tangible skill that would allow a student to enter the workforce immediately post high school. And again, as I indicated, I'm just a big believer that students are going to need something beyond high school, additional training and education. It's just a matter of the delivery method of that can be an apprenticeship program, an internship program, an on-the-job training program. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And so we really tried to bring kind of a consistency across our CT programs that it's for all students. It's for every student to help with their career education development, exploration, maybe start identifying what they think they might want to do post-high school. Perhaps it's eliminated choices. They maybe take a CT course, they find out that's not what they want to do. And that's okay too. There's an investment of time at this stage in that student's life before you get into college tuition debt and things of that nature. So really try to kind of recenter what our purpose and what our why is of career tech education, at least at the secondary level, in terms of making sure that we're there for all students.
Oh man, what a fantastic answer. We had a gentleman on who was in Tennessee who was also career tech, and he was just sharing, some specifics around their program. And it's always just so motivating for me to hear folks like yourself talk about that this is not a program for kids who are not academically inclined, right? It's a welcome all, and sometimes very competitive for kids to get in to some of our CTE programs, right? It's not like AP on one end of the spectrum and CTE on the other. So thank you for confirming that. And so I guess for those folks who may be watching who are aspiring administrators who may not quite understand, for you to do this for 18 years is just phenomenal. Um, the last time that you had to do a significant instructional program adoption for, in your CTE program, what kind of folks are at the table helping with that?
Yeah, no, it's you talked about the important role of involving stakeholders, and stakeholders within critical education is it certainly starts with the students. Students are primarily the leading customer because at least at our secondary level, at the high school level, within career tech education, most often these courses are electives. Students are choosing to be there, or they're choosing not to be there. You're hoping that they're choosing to be there, the right students, the right program for the right reasons, that it lines up with what they want to do post high school. And so again, having the student focused as at the center of all decisions. Then that stakeholder group certainly involves the instructors. Those course instructors could be traditionally trained instructors. It could be instructors that we have gone through alternative measures, maybe brought in from the industry. And so again, thinking about their voice in that conversation is important. You start expanding that stakeholder group. What about parents? What about community members? And then I think within career and technical education, what's so important is that pulse on industry. And so utilization of advisory committee members, industry partners that want to show that real world relevance and connection for the workplace to the classroom. I think that it takes all, and we utilize that adage a lot in education. It takes a village, but it does in career tech education take a village. If you want it to be relevant and meaningful to, again, what's happening outside of that classroom. And so to me, that's the power of current technical education. But you do need intentionally to involve every one of those stakeholders with that conversation. One of the initiatives that we recently did in our district that we're certainly proud of was the construction of a brand new regional CTE center, not only to serve the students in our district, but our surrounding rural communities as well. Just given the size of their communities and the rural nature of North Dakota, they didn't have a lot of CTE opportunities within their home schools. And so then having a regional CTE center where they can travel to, now that expands on and really honestly levels the playing field for all the students within this sector of the state. And so in order to be able to do that, identify programs, identify curriculum, we actually, and again, intentionally involve every one of those stakeholder groups that I talked about in terms of bringing their lens and their perspective to the decision to identify our programs, not only what we were going to offer, but also what were the intended student outcomes that we wanted students to be able to obtain from completion of our programs, whether that was technical degree, technical certifications, dual credit or concurrent enrollment opportunities, work-based learning experiences, or all of the above.
Oh, great answer. I know from me, my personal experience in my first superintendency, prior to my arrival, the district unfortunately lost their CTE programs because of just significant budget challenges. And one of the first things that the board brought to my attention is they wanted to bring CTE back. And our first one that we were able to bring back in house was our Cosmo program, right? And so just having to, build those stations for those kids. And most importantly, as you said, finding the right instructor who has, the real state of the art connection to the industry, finding that person who may or may not, be a, normal professional teacher. And then having that committee of stakeholders who kind of, help you make sure that's an authentic experience. So I can relate directly to your answer there. And it's fantastic to hear. And congratulations on the new center as well. It's phenomenal. So I know what a lot of folks are talking about in this area is what does AI really mean for CTE? And there's a little bit of concern, Ajna, about are we going to lose CTE in some spaces because there's concerns it can eventually be replaced
Sure.
by some AI component. Have you all had to deal with that or think about that?
No, I think it's very much an emerging question as relates to what is the role of AI and the impact on education in general, but certainly career tech education as well. I think the thing that we within CT like to hang our hat on, so to speak, is the concept of transferable skills, things like communication, creative, thinking, problem solving, collaboration. I think the classroom within career tech education is naturally set up to help the establishment of those skills, and those are really, really, to me, not going to necessarily be replaced with AI. So then it's a matter of how do you utilize AI resources and tools to amplify the educational experience. If we believe within career tech education that our classrooms are very relevant to the outside world, then ignoring AI isn't a step in that right direction. We got to figure out a way to be able to bring AI resources and tools and show students how to utilize them effectively within their work. Certainly, I think that there's some efficiencies that can be obtained through the utilization of AI, both from a learning standpoint and from a working workforce standpoint. But again, it's those hard skills, the communication, collaboration, critical thinking that are just so important. That to me, those things are just going to be there forever, regardless of whatever career pathway that you go into.
Yeah, the ability to work together, right? The ability to communicate effectively are skills that can be applied across the spectrum. I agree 100%. And I think about the perception of what AI is versus the reality of what it may become are some answers that none of us have yet, right? And depending on where you are and the industry that you're in, and but those people skills that are developed through CTE and other avenues, those will always be valuable to our kids. That's a great point you make. Thank you. And I guess the last piece, you spoke a little bit about how your new regional space is kind of leveling the playing field for some of the kids who are in more rural areas. Um, for those who may be watching this who aren't as familiar with how regional opportunities work in public schools, how does that work? Do kids have to apply to come to be enrolled? Are they enrolled part time, maybe in their home schools, and then have a certain number of courses? Do you provide buses? What are some of the kind of operational pieces?
It's a great question, and I certainly can speak towards the model that we have here within North Dakota. I think what you're going to find and what other individuals who are watching this, and we did this ourselves when we were planning out this new adventure, was going and visiting other established CT centers in other states to figure out what their operational model was, what their logisticals model is, and I think that there's this great value that comes out of that. The other thing that comes out of it, before I get into your question, Dr. Taylor, is there is such a genuine family feel of career tech education. If you find somebody that believes in CTE and that CT is good for students, they're going to essentially welcome you into that family and figure out a way. It's not competitive. So if I can figure out how to make CT stronger for students in Ohio, I'm happy to do that because to me, we believe in the power of what our programs are doing for students. And so what I found reciprocal from those entities that we visited was this genuine willingness to help. Like, here is everything that we're doing, and take what works for you in your state, in your district, and make your programs as strong as you possibly can for your students, because that's a good thing. And so how our regional center works here in North Dakota is students are enrolled for part of the time. They in some states you'll find that they're enrolled for the entire school day, and they will get everything, including their core academics. They might even get extracurriculars, things like sports and band and etc. That's not the setup that we have here in North Dakota. So students are only enrolled and are coming to our facility to complete their CTE course that they have selected to do to partake in. They then return to their home school for their remainder of their core courses, their extracurriculars, everything that comes along with that. And so that's the balance that we have. Our farthest school is roughly 30 miles. And so, there's roughly about a 35 minute drive on a bus both ways daily for the students to be able to partake in that. We have worked with trying to provide courses in a hybrid model where students are getting the content in an online format and then traveling to the center for the really critical hands-on component. And honestly, that's such an important part of CT, but it's also what brings high school students in their engagement into the classroom is hands-on learning. And so to me, only doing online is something we tried. We tried previous to this facility being constructed. There's certain courses that work themselves out well in that environment, and there's other courses that really miss the hands-on learning component. And so for us, we feel a hybrid model is certainly an option that works. But the majority of our courses we offer are face-to-face daily, and students are traveling via bus in and from the facility from their home school district.
That's phenomenal. When I've spoken to other folks who had, similar CTE responsibilities, one of the things we spoke about was, kind of again behind the scenes, the things that leaders of districts may, be dialed into that maybe everyone else is not because of their responsibilities, is the master scheduling, right? That, for those who may not know, when you're a superintendent, principal, director, executive director, the master schedule is heavy on your mind, because it's the central nervous system of the school district, right? It tells everybody where to go, when to be there, how long to stay there. And so I'm just imagining that that's an important part of your center and what you do.
Yeah, critical piece to it. Trying to get multiple districts. In this case, we have 7 school districts that are members of our regional center. And again, you'll see that number vary greatly depending upon which state you go to and the density of the communities that they're serving. But that certainly is a challenge, trying to get not only a consistent bell schedule, also a consistent master schedule. When does the school year start? When does it end? When is it on winter break? Things of that nature. I think there just needs to be both a flexibility, and there is certainly, it doesn't magically fit to get all together perfectly. I think that's something that we learned in our first year of operation, is that we have to be flexible. But then there's this willingness from those districts to make it work, because I think they understand and realize the important role that these courses can play for their students, and these opportunities wouldn't be provided otherwise without their willingness to work. And so again, we come back to this guiding light of what's good, best for students. They understand these 7 school districts. They know that this regional center is what's best for their students. Their willingness to want to make it work, but at the same time having to be flexible, because we've certainly learned that in our first year of operation as well.
Listen, that's a great place for us to stop, I think, because we started, with your discussion about, stakeholders and everyone contributing to the design, and now talking about school districts and as stakeholders and their willingness to be flexible. Because again, for those who are in education, not every school has the same master schedule, the time that we start and the minutes between classes, and knowing that they're being flexible to make sure that kids are getting what they need. This makes me thrilled and really happy to hear. And for those folks who may be out there listening who are planning or thinking about CTE, that's a great model to be able to reflect on. So thank you for giving us your time, Eric.
I appreciate it. I really enjoy the conversation.
Awesome. Awesome. Everyone, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.